They lose to Philadelphia. Okay, you kind of deal with that. Philly's good, but they lose the last game before the playoffs at Atlanta.
Yeah.
And now you're going, wow, this is really, really bad. And then they come back after the All-Star break and they beat Houston at home. You're thinking maybe there's a chance. Then I'm with them on the road, lose at New Orleans, lose at Memphis, and pretty much it just meant that this season was going to be a disaster. They were eliminated from the playoffs over the weekend, and now they're just playing for pride and playing because they get paid to play 82 games, so they might as well play them out.
Was this always a 2-year plan, though? I mean, I know they signed a lot of 1-year deals with the veterans that came in, Stevenson, McGee, Rondo, and the young guys have always been trade pieces. Maybe not all of them, but there's always some value to young players. So was this always a 2-year plan, though, in L.A.? It seems like at least in part it was.
It was because the big free agent last summer was LeBron James, and the assumption was that the Lakers did not have to do a lot of recruiting. He was coming there anyway. But the big free agent class and haul was going to be in 2019. Kevin Durant is a free agent. Kawhi Leonard can become a free agent. I mean, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins,
Kemba Walker. There's a ton of them.
Irving.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of guys out there. So, yes, it was always, if we get LeBron James and add one more guy to this, and perhaps we can really now start building toward the future and with our young guys. It just so happens that Anthony Davis and his people decided he wanted to be traded. So it was smart for them to go out and try and make a push to get him. You have to. I mean, one of the top 5 talents in the NBA. Yeah. It got put out there and became such a public spectacle that it hurt. But they had to make a move for that, and that hurt them badly. So, yes, back to your original question, it was a 2-year plan because of all of these top-tier guys that can become available summer.
Have the Lakers and their struggles, has that affected how LeBron is viewed on this team or maybe within the fan base? And I'm not trying to put you on a spot there, so let me clarify what I mean. LeBron has seemed to be a little lackadaisical on defense. We saw him sitting kind of off to the side. He's done those similar things here in Cleveland in the past. And I just wonder if that's had a palpable effect either within the team, without giving up any secrets, or in the fan base, which he seems to have failed to connect with like he did in Miami and in Cleveland.
Well, the one thing about Laker fans, which are different from Cleveland fans and Miami fans, the Lakers have always had the premier superstar on their team. We can go back to when they were in Minneapolis, and they had George Mikan. And they come to L.A., they've got Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain. They get Kareem, they get Magic, they get James Worthy, they get Kobe, they get Shaq. You got Jerry West running the organization. Pat Riley is one of the incredible coaches. Phil Jackson is a great coach. He's here. So they've always had these stars. So he comes here, and Laker fans, some of them, like my nephew and his friends, they are Laker fans through and through. They grew up through the Kobe era. They were not so sure they wanted LeBron James. So he had to ingratiate himself with them, and he didn't do it immediately because he didn't have a press conference when he signed with them. He didn't talk to the media until media day. That was late September. And Laker fans have this love affair with Kobe Bryant. They love him to death. He can do no wrong because he did win 5 championships. He was born and bred to be a Laker. He's at 17 years old, played there for 20 years. So that's a lot to overcome. So I don't think Laker fans have truly embraced LeBron. But conversely, I'm not sure how much he's helped to ingratiate himself with Laker fans, the way all those other stars did. Maybe that was a lesson to be learned. And the young players, I only think there's one guy left on the team. I'm not even sure about that now that played with Kobe, but they knew. Rajon Rondo knows the history of Kobe Bryant. Those two guys were friends. But he also played in Boston with KG, with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, and Dr. Rivers as a coach, and for that organization. So he knows what it's like to have stars, superstars, and an organization that always win. So LeBron James thing is still, let's just say, it's still to be determined on what happens with him and how Lakers fans truly feel about him.
And that's amazing considering he's still one of the top 3 players in this league. It's just amazing that there's still this uncertainty for the fans and him. It's really surprising.
Think about that. It really is. And you mentioned one thing about the defense. That has been very, very poor this season. I mean, dare I say, it's been, I'm going to say, the worst I've seen him play defense since I watched him play over his whole career. He got here. There were moments, but there were infrequent moments of him playing really good defense.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to pick on LeBron. You and I talked about him a lot last time. I am curious as your thoughts on this, though. This is a big offseason for them because if they don't get anyone this year, next year and the year after don't look great, and LeBron's not getting younger. So how confident is the team that they'll be able to land one of the lists of the free agents that we talked about or an AD? And specifically, because I throw a lot of this on Magic and Rob Pelinka, how much confidence does the building have on them to get this turned around?
You have to understand, Magic Johnson has the utmost confidence in himself because he's Magic Johnson. Rob Pelinka believes because it is Magic Johnson and it is the Lakers, they're going to get someone. Now, most people around the NBA don't see that happening, but as Jerry West once told me, until someone signs on a dotted line, until you have them in their uniform, you just don't know. An example would be DeAndre Jordan. He agreed to a deal with the Dallas Mavericks, and all of a sudden he changed his mind. He came back to the Clippers. So until someone signs with said team, the Lakers will always believe they have a chance, and they should. I mean, they have to think that if Magic sits in a room with Kevin Durant, a Kawhi Leonard, a Kyrie Irving, a DeMarcus Cousins, a Klay Thompson, that they have a chance of getting that player. We won't know until July 1st gets here and guys' names start lining up and they get to visit these guys and talk to them and explain to them their vision and what they want to do. We won't know until then. But that, for me, that's the fun part of this. When the Clippers get someone, where they get Kawhi and the Lakers don't get him, if that happens, you kind of like, ooh, how about the Clippers? Now, what if the Lakers get him and the Clippers don't? You're like, ooh, the Lakers got him. So it's going to be fun. A lot of fun this year.
Well, you're already planning my off-season interview with you, Brad, because that was going to be my next question, is because I was going to reference that. The Clippers are attached to Kawhi Leonard very tightly. Yeah. We know the Lakers are going to be super busy, and the Clippers were selling assets to be a player in the off-season. So who has the better off-season setting themselves up to have the better team next year? The Lakers or the Clippers?
You know, right now you have to say it would be the Clippers because we should rather go to a team that made the playoffs or a team that didn't make the playoffs. We want to go to a franchise that's done nothing but won NBA championships in a city that's beloved. So it's up to the individual players. I think both of them are saying that pretty well, but right now you have to give the Clippers the edge because they are a team with a great coach who has won an NBA championship in Boston, who has a team playing the optimum level of basketball, who knows the game. They have a great owner. They have someone like Jerry West on their staff. They have a hard-working front office. So, yes, but I can never discount Magic Johnson. I can never say that he can't get it done. So, I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be a fun summer in L.A.
Well, Brad, you have 20 years of history in which to trust Mr. Magic Johnson, so I'm not going to bet against him either. And I've seen LeBron James dominate this league in the offseason before, and I think he can do it again. I go back to when Kevin Love and him had that issue the year before their championship, and he took Kevin aside, and that Cabana, they talked it out, and then they won a championship. I don't put the Lakers out of this at all.
No, I don't either. And at some point, and I think LeBron also, as you just mentioned, played a role in this. Do players want to play with him, play against him? I mean, all these things are to be determined. But, yes, if he speaks to you, I think you have to listen. If he's with Magic, you have to listen to both of them. You walk into their facility and you see all these retired jerseys from Kareem to Magic to James Worthy to Kobe Bryant, who has two of them, to Shaq. You see the trophies glistening out of Jeannie Buss's office. man, that can be pretty overwhelming. But you have to get them there. You have to show them the place. And then you have your work cut out for you because you just don't know. But in this day and age, man, who knows what these guys are thinking? Who knows what they're going to decide and what it would be based on? Because all the money's going to be the same if they leave their teams. But which team can help them win an NBA championship? That becomes the key question.
Well, and it'll be exciting to follow. We've been talking to Brad Turner of the LA Times. Again, follow him on Twitter, B.A. Turner. Going to get you out of here. I know you have a lot to get done today. 2 really quick questions. How excited are you to see Zion Williamson in the NBA first?
Ooh, man. I watched him against UCF, and without him, Duke doesn't win that game. Even though he has holes in his games, which my friends are quick to point out, and I'm quick to also tell them, right around May or so, I'm guessing he'll leave school. He'll start working on his game. That becomes his job. So whatever he's deficient at, he'll make improvements there. But it looks like he just loves the game of basketball. He works hard. He trains hard. He's a good kid. He's a good teammate. All those things. He has a high motor. Man, I can't wait to see the guy play in person. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
The Lakers have a lottery pick. What if? What if?
I think the rules are set up now, if I'm not mistaken, that the top 3 teams with the worst record, one of them has to get the number 1 pick.
Oh, is that how the new rules are? I don't know that, yeah.
I mean, it'd be hard for them to get Zion, but there are some other guys out there. John Morant, the kid from Murray State, not too bad. He's a good point guard. He can get it done. R.J. Barrett, there's some names out there.
What a great draft.
But Zion's the guy, though. That's the guy I want to see out there in the NBA one day.
Well, I'm going to let you go, but I asked you to give me a story last time. You did a great job with the Kobe story. I'm going to make it a little easier this time for you. Give me one of your top places that when you visit on the road, top places to grab a bite to eat or maybe grab a glass of that red wine we all like. Give me one of your favorite places on the road to visit.
Ooh, I have to be honest. Right now, I'm thinking Dallas, Texas, Papados. Getting a crawfish etouffee. Ooh, with some shrimp on top of it. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? And a nice cold beer? Man, nothing can top that.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I love seafood, and I love beer. So we have been talking to Brad Turner of the LA Times. Brad, thank you so much for all the time you give us, and thank you again for your conversation today. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We will be right back with my thoughts on Brad Turner's interview and my thoughts on the NBA as the regular season wraps up. You are listening to Cinderblock Sports. I am your host, John O'Donnell. We will be right back.
Cinderblock Sports isn't your weekly recap. It's about host John O'Donnell's view on the week in sports, including interviews with interesting personalities, John's opinions on topics that you may have missed, and entertainment through analysis of the sports we love. Now, from the Dream Big Studios, here's John O'Donnell.
And welcome back. We are Cinderblock Sports. I am your host, John O'Donnell, and that was Brad Turner of the LA Times, and again on Twitter at B.A. Turner. Brad has joined the show a few times. He is a great interview, knows so much about the game of basketball. Had a chance to talk to him both before and after the interview, and I can just tell you that a lot of what you hear, rumor-wise in the NBA, Brad Turner has his finger on the pulse, and it is great to have him on. And I thought his takes on Magic Johnson, the self-confidence that he has, that he can get a Kevin Durant, a Klay Thompson, a Kyrie Irving in the room and convince them that the Lakers are the right fit, I think that is a really interesting take. It is clear that the Lakers do not think that the LeBron saga is over. It is clear that the Lakers know they need to do more, and they are prepared to do it. I found his comments on LeBron not connecting with the fans very telling. I think it's been obvious. I think LeBron thought everyone was Hollywood. Those are regular, hard-working people, LeBron. You should have done a better job of connecting with them, and you have a lot of work to do. I do think the roster was garbage, and I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But again, I want to thank Brad Turner for his time